What the hell has happened? So I was about to, I was about to boot up Pokemon Legends ZA, and I was prompted to do a system update, and I was like, you know what? It was short last time. I'll just do it really quickly while I'm getting all sorted here. And if you see what I see, no, you don't see what I see. Okay, want to see what I see? Um, what I see now is something very quite different. This is my display now. Hold on. Wow. You know, that's yeah, that seems about right. Um I don't know how that happened. I've legitimately never seen this happen before. I'm going to unplug my capture card there, like the Switch HDMI cable going into it, and plug it in again and see what happens. OBS it still looks fine on. Huh, my screen looks okay on now. Didn't delay any audio or anything. Come on. Probably not. Okay. Oh my god. Just whatever. DLC came out today. It's the 10th of December, 2025 now. Boop. Go ahead and switch on over here. A little bit of lag as we switch over. Yeah, I I was like, I beat the game before the DLC came out. Maybe when it comes out, I'll just go right into the DLC. Can you believe I was on top of it enough? I wasn't. I looked it up. The epilogue stuff is important. Um, so, even though the credits rolled, it said Finn and all that, I'm not done with the story yet. This next thing about the Infinite ZA Royale, I do actually need to do, as it turns out. So, yeah. So that's not, the DLC isn't happening tonight. I haven't even purchased it yet. But it's out now. I was looking through some of the Mega Evolutions, and, Mega Darkrai is certainly quite the sight. There's a few forms of Mega Tatsugiri that are like curly, something else, and stretchy. Or something like that. Maybe it was curved, something or other, and stretchy. I could just imagine next time someone asks me what my favorite Pokemon is, I'm gonna be like, oh, it's Mega Tatsugiri. Stretchy. Is what I'm gonna say or something that's kind of funny. I usually don't stream on Wednesdays, because Wednesdays I typically go to Taekwondo class. But I ended up having to stay home today because I got a bit of a 3D printing request from my mom that wants me to 3D print. I've 3D printed a few of these for some retiring coworkers before, since she works in women's and children's health, and that's where I worked until earlier this year. Nowadays, I work in a very different field. So it's essentially like a little statue in the company colors, where the white figure that it prints on top is like a little figure display thingamabob of a mother holding a child is what it's supposed to be there. So, I'm not printing any dragons tonight. I'm not printing anything Pokemon themed tonight. This is literally just by necessity. I got the printing request tonight to have it done for tomorrow to to be able to give that during a Christmas party that's going on. I'm choking now. What the heck? So, I couldn't go to Taekwondo tonight because I have to manually color change that, which is making me think that maybe Mythic's right after all. Maybe I should get a multicolor printer one of these days. Then I could just load up multiple filaments and go to Taekwondo and let it print on its own. But I had to be here and load in the blue and let it finish the blue, and then take out the blue, load in the green, let it do the green, take out the green, load in the white, let it finish the white. So from here, white's its last color. I can leave it be. It'll go into the night here. It's gonna finish sometime while I'm asleep, most likely. But, so this isn't really a stream of a 3D print cam for the sake of having, like, a cool product, like, start to finish. You're seeing right in the middle ground. You're not gonna see the ending. By the next time I stream this game, it's already gonna be given away, because it's kind of last-minute notice here. But, hey, if I'm 3D printing by necessity anyway, may as well have the 3D print cam on, even though I don't really have something special for the stream itself to be 3D printing. And tonight, specifically, I wanted to stream this game because the DLC is out. Even though I can't do the DLC because I'm not far enough in yet. So, like, I'll do a little bit more chipping away. I was gonna do a decent smidge of chipping away tonight. It's already It's already 9:19 and it's a work night, so I can't go for too long. I looked up how to get in a lowland Raichu because I thought that that would be, like, really fun for, like, a surfer dude kind of thing for Florida Man, but I found out that there was only one that you could get in this game, and it was in post-game at this point, where you go talk to her and, like, you trade something or other. And then if it's traded, I wouldn't be able to nickname it. It's just kind of big sad. Did they ever add home support with this game, or not yet? I wonder. As if I want to shell it for home at the same time, though. So yeah, anyway. I wanted to start a little bit earlier, but I got an invite from my cousins to play some Elden Ring Night Rain, and I was like, you know what, let's play a little bit of that. So, we tried some more of the DLC of Elden Ring Night Rain. We gave 2 attempts to the DLC final boss. The first one, our run up until the boss was like the god run. We were getting stacked with legendary weapons, we had so much cool stuff, but just some bad luck on the actual final boss, and we kind of got wrecked. The second run, we got a okay-ish run leading up to the boss. Maybe not as good of drops, like some pretty decent ones. RJ got a lot of crit stuff. At least my stuff was semi-decent, but not, you know, the most amazing. I had lots of runes, we leveled up a whole bunch, it was great. But then when we went into the final boss, internet issues started happening. So across the 3 of us, of RJ, Tom, and myself here, just so it's easier to refer to them by name here, as opposed to, like, you know, cousin and little cousin, like, just to sort them out a little bit better. Tom was stuck in a cutscene that said that the 2 of us hadn't skipped. And then RJ and I got into the boss. And then Tom was nowhere to be seen, and he was stuck on infinite loading screen. So already when we struggle enough against the final boss with 3 of us as is, 2 was a little bit of a worrisome thing. So the 2 of us were going at phase 1 of the final boss, okay-ish, kind of struggled a little bit towards the end. I eventually died, and before I could be picked up, my game started having internet issues. I got booted out. It kicked me out. It was like disconnected from match, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's literally just you now. Have fun 1v1ing the boss. And, you know, he was trying his hardest, despite the fact that, you know, it seemed pretty hopeless. He was solo now, when it was difficultly designed for 3 people there. So I was like, well, I guess that's it. I'm gonna go grab some food here before I start some Legend ZA. So I went upstairs, I grabbed myself a plate of food and brought it down here, and I was getting ready to munch, and I'd heard that he was still battling the boss. I was like, really? You survived this long? So I booted into the game, and, you know, just figuring it would put me in, like, the regular hub to join into, like, the next round or something or other. And initially it said, like, failed to reload session. But when I loaded into the game, it did put me back into the final boss, on the ground dead, with 3 bars, which in Elden Ring Night Rain means that you're, like, the hardest to revive, like, to the point that sometimes it's more worthwhile to just leave you on the ground, like, it's really hard to revive you. But I was in there, RJ was in there, and Tom was in there too, so he got through the infinite loading screens and got into the game. After finding a decent bit of an opening and him not being able to lock onto me, Tom was actually able to revive me. And RJ had used all his healing items. He was on like 1 hit. He's dodging attacks like crazy. And amidst all that turmoil, after I was gone for like 2 or 3 minutes, got back with food, and then all of a sudden I was in the game again. I was like, what? There's still a chance? We managed to win it. So the DLC of Elden Ring Night Rain is now beaten as of tonight. Like, it was unreal. So we had the actual god setup going up to the boss and then lost. And then we had the universe literally working against us with the internet there and all these disconnects and not all of us being in there at once until like right towards the end and all this mayhem. And still somehow won. Like, that has got to be like potentially the craziest boss battle that I've ever had happen to me in a FromSoft game yet. Across all the games in that series that I've played on this channel. That was a run that was so cursed to lose and didn't. Like, everyone was trying to play out of their minds, RJ especially. So I'm still a little bit floored about that. So that's what just happened to me. And then I grabbed some food, and then I'm switching to Legend ZA, so, you know, it's already kind of late because I was playing Night Rain. It's a weekday night with work tomorrow, so I'm just doing a little smidge. We're not starting the DLC tonight, but I acknowledge that it's out, and now people are playing Pokemon Legends ZA Side Order. I just wanted to share what happened there. And welcome back, Nurix. Limor Don't Starve Together, and 3 bosses are right next to each other. I know the feel, but with a very different game there. If you wish to take part in a reward match, you will need to secure a challenger's ticket. Please earn yourself ticket points by taking part in battles in the Infinite CA Royale's battle zones. Oh, I could have been rambling while I was farming stupid tickets. Oh my god, man. So, what time is? Already like halfway done? Oh god. Curtains have drawn back on the Infinite ZA Royale. Collect challenger tickets so you can take part in reward matches for the fabulous prizes they offer. Try your hand at Infinite ZA Royale. I need stupid tickets, man. I think that when I do play the DLC, I would like to change up my team a little bit. Like, to be able to do some of the new megas, potentially. Look at that. Oh, I'm not going to be able to get a thumbnail shot. Unless that... no. It starts fading out to black. Is what it does. Wait, I'm getting mixed up with other layouts. The game is full there for me to pull out. Gosh dang it. I forget these things, man. But yeah, so I'm still just a little bit floored that round that I thought there is absolutely no way this is winnable was won. I'm floored that DLC has released for this game less than 2 months after the game itself came out. Oh, there's multiple battle zones. Oh, wow, there's lots of multiple battle zones here. The game came out 1 day under 2 months ago. So still under 2 months ago today. The, ice type moves. I guess I have those. Yeah. There's already DLC out. So, yeah, go ahead and grab that. So, yeah. Pretty obvious that it... oh. That it was co-developed. Like, I don't mind DLCs that really are something extra made after the fact. Camera and rank infinite. I don't mind if, you know, DLC is made after the fact. Like, hey, this game turned out well. People like it. Let's go ahead and make some additional content. I don't mind that kind of thing. But if you're, oh, that's fine. Whatever. Blarg. But if you're gonna be releasing DLC, the expansion, less than 2 months after the fact, or day one, as happened with another game that I did a playthrough of recently, the recent new SpongeBob game had a similar thing going on. Day one DLC. Then, come back before you perish there. Then it's very obvious that they were co-developed. And it's like, okay, if they're co-developed, then is it really you know, additional content per se? Oh, I love the run there. Or is it just, you know, content that could have been in the main game that you cut out? So, I do want to fight you, so like... Judge feature gives you a concrete evaluation of your Pokemon's stats so you can gauge their latent potential. On the stats section of your Pokemon summary, press R to toggle between numbers and what the judge feature says about each stat. So, yeah. You develop DLC after the fact, whatever. Like, take Elden Ring, for example. So I was just talking about Elden Ring. Shadow of the Erdtree came out like 2 years after Elden Ring. And people were saying was like a whole nother mini game in and of itself. And it was really good. Like, I really like Shadow of the Erdtree. Like, so that is very much an instance of, hey, people like the game. Let's do something a little bit more and really build it from the ground up after the fact. But, you know, it's a big problem with just the modern gaming industry in general. It's not like it's a Pokemon exclusive thing. But there is absolutely a trend towards... we have our roadmap planned out right from the beginning and all this DLC that's going to be coming out some soon right after launch. Like, look at things like, I haven't played a new Assassin's Creed game for a while, but like, when a new one of those comes out, for example, just think about Ubisoft. They release a game and it's like, oh, here's the roadmap for the next 2 years we're going to be releasing content. And it's like, I don't know, come up with plans after the fact. That one's not as big of an issue because at least that is more of a case of something being developed after the fact, potentially. But, you know, pre-orders for this DLC opened before the game even came out. And now it's out when the game has been out less than 2 months. So I presume that this DLC was probably done at the same time that the game came out. And they were like, oh yeah, we can't release it day one. Let's release it just soon enough after that people will have probably beaten the game by then. I haven't freaking beaten... well, I have, but you know what I mean. Ah, shit. I was crouched, man. Who's keeping track? I was behind the friggin' thing here, man. Please don't. My god, you gotta be kidding me. Alright, fire type move time. My thoughts exactly. Alright. Oh my god, you are really noisy at that, aren't you? Yeah, we'll just go to the Pokemon Center after this, whatever. Is what I guess I will do. But yeah, it's just kind of a common thing in the modern gaming industry where it's like, oh yeah, here's the release plan, here's the main game, here's the DLC, let's be co-developing these and release stuff over time. So, you know, Pokemon doesn't really do the 2 versions anymore. They, I don't have any fighting type moves. But they get the rest of their bag another way. Like the new full prices for Nintendo games, which again, like I've talked about the prices before in the sense of like, you know, whatever. Inflation, tariffs, all that fun stuff there. When you compare it to something like, you know, 15 years ago, whatever the heck. I bought Pokemon Heart Gold in like its big fancy box with the Pokewalker accessory included and all the stuff there and the full color manual for $40 Canadian. This game costs $100. And that's not even the complete experience. Because the complete experience is with the DLC that's at the eShop there, which is an additional $40. So if I want the complete experience here, I'm paying $140 for less content than $40 would have gotten me 15 years ago. So I'm sure that if you account for inflation, that 40 is probably like... What is that 40 nowadays? When did Heart Gold Soul Silver come out? Yeah, this is kind of what it is there. Guzma. Hold on, let's see here. CAD inflation calculator, like just for reference here. Bank of Canada inflation calculator, let's see here. And then Pokemon Heart Gold Soul Silver. Was that 2010 or was that 2009? Oh, that was 2009, so that was 16 years ago. So let's see here. Inflation calculator. Let's see here. For a date, 2009. An item that cost $40 Canadian in 2009 would cost $57.70 in 2025. I would have thought like 60 there, so I was pretty close. Like, I have my copy of Pokemon Heart Gold right there. I have a bunch of stuff in front of it. I'm worried about dropping it. I'm gonna grab it anyway. Oh, let's not drop my ocarina. Let's just put it down there for now. I mean, look at this. Boodabop. A whole 40 clams Canadian for that. With like the whole big fancy box that like the game case goes into and stuff. You have in addition to the game like the little accessory here of the Pokewalker. Pokemon Go before Pokemon Go essentially. For, hold on. So $140 for the complete experience of this. And then $40 for this, which today would be $57.70. So, you know, you double that for, words. You double that and it's like $114, something like that. So, the full experience of Pokemon Legends ZA here costs more than double this video game right here, with additional stuff too. So, you know, even when you account for inflation, times have certainly changed. So even if they're not doing the whole dual version thing anymore, they're making their bag in other ways. And again, like I said, it's kind of a standard thing in modern gaming nowadays anyway, where it's like, oh, here's the main release, and then there's a DLC that comes after the fact. Like, it's not necessarily a Pokemon-specific issue. I'd say it's more of a general gaming issue. You know, when it's really adding up with this game here, it really gets me thinking. Is all it is there. Play devil's advocate, we as consumers don't need to pay $100 Canadian for the base game. You can just play $85 Canadian and play the Switch 1 version on Switch 2 console. True. Buying the Switch 2 version is a choice, but still almost as much as I paid for Ultra Sun / Moon double pack. Yeah. But yeah, it is true. If you pop the game into a console that is capable of playing it better, it won't actually play it better unless you shell out extra money for it. So, you know, you're right, it's a choice, but I don't know if it's, uh-oh. necessarily a great situation where it's like, hey, you spent like $600 on this console. This console is capable of playing the games you own better. It just won't unless you shell out extra for it to play those games better. That is a whole nother thing that I take issue with for sure. Seen some of the new Mega designs? Yeah, I looked through a lot of them. I should have knocked you out with a fire type move from there is what I should have done. But yeah, most of them are weird and garbage. I haven't had a proper look at all of them yet. I think some of them are weird and garbage. Some of them are like, oh, it's kind of cool and different. I don't know. I saw that there was a Mega Staraptor, which actually looks not bad. Which, you know, is kind of exciting for me when Starly was the first Pokemon I ever caught. The first party member in my team that wasn't a starter Pokemon. Way back when. But, you know, is there home support for this game already? 2, isn't the situation like you can transfer them to this game but not back to other games again after you've done that? It's only from like this game forward, so once other Pokemon games come out, you'll be able to transfer them around other games. But, you know, for now with the general Switch era, if I transfer, I think I have a couple Staraptors though, because there would have been one from, I think there would have been one from my BDSP playthrough, and I think there would have been one from my Legends Arceus playthrough. So maybe I have a fair game Lyn or Lindis Staraptor to transfer over. I do kind of want to change up some of my team for the DLC when we get to that. I already know that we're putting in a Golisopod that might well have the name of Golisopog. That or Grievous or something. Seeing the Dark type one, the Eyeball Kirby final boss. Yeah, that. Unless it is actually the final boss there, but yeah, it's certainly something there. You got an overpriced game with not only bad graphics but shitty Pokemon designs too. That's a lot more subjective, but you know, some of them I like, but you know, I don't know. I feel like the Mega designs the new Megas didn't go quite as hard as like Pokemon X and Y or Auras, but I don't know. I would need to look at all of them in a list and really have a look at that to give my opinion there. I think that is reasonable for publishers to charge more for Switch 2 versions, so there are at least some programming resource involved. I mean, not a whole $15 Canadian extra, let alone $30 Canadian for some other Switch 2 versions. Yeah, that's true there. But, you know, the way that I kind of see it is, like, develop it with the intention for, like, the stronger console, but, you know, have a toned-down version that's for the weaker console, or whatever the heck. Like, or maybe, I don't know. My brain is fried. I'm still stunned about that DLC final boss in Elden Ring Night Rain. Like, part of me kind of hates just speaking, because sometimes I say things where it's like, huh, do I really mean it like that? But if I'm, like, typing, it's like, I'm gonna think this through, and then I'm gonna type in my response there. So, you know, maybe some of the things I say like that I don't entirely mean, and I realize after I say it, like, huh, is that for sure my exact opinion? I don't know. But yeah, they get stuck in this game forever currently. Yeah, so I've heard about that, but apparently it'd be transferable to future games. But yeah. Well, maybe it will be. I think that the publisher Gung Ho set a good precedent when it decided that the Switch 2 upgrade for Trails in the Sky would cost $1 on the eShop. Yeah, that's fine there. Be it Night Rain DLC final boss? Yeah, with the most cursed run you've ever seen in your life. Like, it was certainly something. I was just talking about it a little smidge before. 20?! Where the hell are other people? Here, let's see. No, we actually lost that run. It was the run afterwards where we had internet issues and were constantly disconnecting and thought that, like, it was briefly RJ on his own playing because Tom was stuck in an infinite loading screen and couldn't load in. And I was fighting with him in duos, and then the game disconnected me, and I thought I was gone for good, so I left for like 2 or 3 minutes and grabbed some food. I came back, loaded into the game, and by the time I got back, it turned out Tom had successfully loaded into the game. And it loaded me in, and when it loaded me in, it put me down with 3 bars, while the 2 of them are fighting, the 2 of them against the final boss there. And, sure, I can do that there. I can do that. I could have done that too. I don't know. So I loaded in down with like 3 bars. Meanwhile, RJ's out of healing items. The boss still has most of its health. Anyway, we won. We won that round. So, you know. I guess we're just really good. That's all it be. There we go. So yeah, that it's gonna be quite the finale part for the Elden Ring Night Rain DLC there, isn't it? Because my goodness gracious. Like, that was a run that we were so fated to lose. Like, I'm sure that there was a decent span where RJ was just fighting the final boss solo because I was like disconnected, crashed out of the game, and Tom was stuck on his infinite loading screen. So, you know, it was certainly a situation there. Certainly something. It really was quite insane. But yeah, Gung Ho mentioned the makers of that one mobile gacha game that got 3DS sequel is actually pretty good. I've never heard of like, I've heard of Trails of the Sky before. I haven't heard of Gung Ho before. Here, boop. Get my water type moves or something or other here. Larg. But yeah. Yeah, it did. Still set to like the same health and damage for 3-player. So, you know, like the 1v1 that he had there for a little bit. Is there no way up onto these rooftops or anything? Wish I had more space for more cards. So yeah, that'll once that's up on YouTube later, that'll probably make quite the interesting finale part to watch. I think that's gonna be part either a 112 or 116 or something like that. I don't remember. What am I at on the thingamabob? Let's see here. Studio. Night Rain. That's gonna be 116. In case anybody is watching this down the line and really wants to see that ludicrousness for themselves. That'll be part 116 of the Night Rain series. I'm going to a different one. That one sucks, man.